Imagine a lonely desert, satellites circling above,
keeping an eye out for everything.
and a small team of scientists moving like ghosts. On a single night in May 1998, one of them presses a button that wakes up the world. That scientist would later become the President of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. Today, we're counting down 5 real moments when Kalam shocked the world, not with vanity, but with grit and genius, stubborn courage, and fierce love for his country. Okay, so let's start at the control room in Sriharikota. The year is 1979. Young engineers are watching telemetry like a heartbeat. The satellite is Rohini. The rocket is SLV-3. Kalam is the project director. The countdown goes down. The rocket lifts. And then things go horribly wrong. The valve fails and the second stage tumbles. The vehicle ends up in the Bay of Bengal. Devastating, public humiliation, the nation watching. That was August 10th, 1979. The team could have been torn apart with blame, but the chairman of ISRO at the time, Satish Dhawan, publicly took responsibility. And this was to protect his scientists. The lesson stuck, and 1 year later, on July 18, 1980, the same team, still led by Kalam, put Rohini into orbit. The rocket lived, and so did the resolve. This was where Kalam learned leadership. Absorb the pain, fix the problem, and push everyone forward. If SLV-3 gave India a way to reach the skies, the next step was to make the nation defendable. In the early 1980s, Kalam was moved to lead a bold, almost impossible sounding mission, a program, the Integrated Guided Missile Program, or IGMDP. The mission? Make India's missiles at home, from scratch, not buying from foreign countries. Imagine building not one, but a family of missiles. Propulsion, navigation, guidance system, all without easy access to foreign technology. Kalam stitched together multiple labs, Prithvi, Agni, and a host of other systems that put India on the map. When the Agni and Prithvi tests succeeded in the 1980s, it wasn't just engineering, it was a statement. India could not only buy technology, but it could also create one for itself. That earned Kalam a name that no one would ever forget. The Missile Man of India. By 1998, Kalam was a scientific advisor to the government. Behind closed doors at the Thar Desert, a plan was unfolding. Operation Shakti. The goal? Demonstrate India's capabilities in nuclear power, and also change the calculus of the whole region. Secrecy was everything in this one. The team disguised everything, worked around the satellite passing, and dug shafts with surgical precision. On May 11, 1998, the first device was detonated, with more following the next few days. The world was obviously stunned. The test reshaped South Asia's strategic map forever, overnight. Kalam was one of the chief coordinators. Imagine a scientist managing the most politically explosive program. The test brought praise, sanctions, and fierce debate. But above all, it changed India's position on the world map. Forever. Now here's a twist that people mostly love. The Missile Man wasn't just destructive. He wasn't just about destruction and explosions. He wanted technology to heal, not just to hurt. In the 1990s, Kalam visited hospitals and saw patients that were lacking the basic needs because life-saving stunts were too expensive and were imported from outside. This was outrageous for Kalam. So he did what he always did: connect people with tech. Working with cardiologist Dr. Soma Raju and teams with the DRDO, he helped develop an indigenous, low-cost coronary stunt, the Kalam Raju stent. That lowered the price for life-saving cardiac procedures, and that too for thousands. He also championed lightweight prosthetics and calipers for polio-affected patients, applying the same composite materials from missile tech to making walking possible, and not to mention joyful for kids. That moment flipped the stereotype, for obvious reasons. The same mind that designed missiles used the same know-how to save lives, hearts, and limbs. Now you'd think after rockets, nuclear tests, and missiles, he'd crave power. Instead, in 2002, Kalam became India's 11th president and turned the greatest house of the state into a classroom. He answered thousands of letters from the students. He would sit on the stairs and listen, not just talk from the podium. He traveled to remote schools and to tiny towns. He wrote books, wrote ever simpler letters, and challenged the youth to dream, loudly and often. For him, the greatest title was not of the scientist or the missile man, or even the president for that matter. It was a teacher. He said a lot of times that he wanted to be remembered as a person who questioned things, who thought things through, and that's what he wanted people to learn from him. Simple acts, a short answer to a student, a public reading, multiplied into a national movement. The humility and the persistence is the shock that stayed with people. A man who could run top secret projects actually chose to just light fires in the heads of young students, and their hearts lived up. So what ties these 5 facts together? It's not gadgets or medals. It's the pattern. Failure met with grit. Power met with restraint. Technology steered toward progress. And authority handed back to the people. Kalam's life is an argument. Greatness is not actually what you build. It's actually what you give away. He built rockets that reached the space and skills that protected the nation. He built missiles and then chose to learn restraint. To teach it actually. He built machines that could kill, and then later on in life, he built devices that actually helped people live longer and healthier.